We are live. Welcome to another edition of the All Sports Matters podcast. I am your host, Mr. All Sports Matter himself, Amir Sharaz Ortiz, aka Poppy Ortiz 02, on Instagram, Amir Sharaz on TikTok. Welcome. We've been gone for this 2 weeks, 2 week hiatus. We're still recovering from the shocking NFL draft. Now the draft picks are getting signed, fully guaranteed contracts as we speak. But as we speak, I want to speak to my brothers before I speak to the public. Chef, come on up. What's going on?
What's going on, baby? How you been, man? It's been a minute.
It's definitely been a minute. Kind of hyped up, my kids flying this weekend, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting the house ready. That's why I had to take some time off.
Gotcha.
Decided to work for a little bit just to, because they're gonna break me when it comes to my bank account.
So, and rocket. And they won't either.
I had to hit these corners, these streets, show a little leg. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, rub it in there.
Hey, I brought a whole new meaning to Arm and Hammer. I'm a construction, guys. I'm talking construction. All right.
Straight land pipe.
I am talking construction. Mr. Producer, Mr. JB, Mr. Bilbo, welcome to the show, brother.
Not you having the Hoochie Daddy shorts on. Look.
Hoochie Daddy.
I did because it was hot, but
not you having the Hoochie Daddy 9,000s on.
Yeah.
First of all, I had to do what I had to do. My kid's about to break me for the next 2 months.
I get it. I need to go and talk to the producer. Did that intro get longer, or have we just been gone for a while? Because it felt like it was longer.
I thought it got longer, but it is because we've been gone. But
okay, get on.
But the intro gives me hype, man. That's
one
of the best intros I've ever seen.
I'll be extra hyped. Listen to that. We got a good producer. He be doing stuff.
I'll take that over McAfee First Take. Rest in peace to Around the Horn, which is last show is tomorrow. By the way, just want to throw that out.
And rest in peace to Mr. Jim Irsay.
Rest in peace, Mr. Jim Irsay, Indianapolis Colts owner, passed away at the age of 65. That was way too young. That's
that energy. I loved it.
That's insane to me. Mr. Irsay did great things. Controversial, but he did great things.
He had some ups and downs, but he did some good things.
We're gonna say it like it is.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, rest in peace, sir. Yeah. Whatever happened to you, hope he went out in peace. Said he died in his sleep, so he went in peace. He tweeted that morning, which is crazy, right? He tweeted just fine, talking about the Indianapolis Pacers, wishing them luck, and then passed away in his sleep that same night. So,
man, I wonder if that's why they won. He was behind them like on 12th man.
I don't know what it had to be, because that bounce at the end. Let's talk about it. Tyrese Halliburton and that bounce.
Just go right into it.
It felt like Marlon Wayans was hanging on. Oh, Kadeem Hardison. It was Kadeem Hardison was hanging on.
Kadeem Hardison was in there.
That's a 6-man reference, people. One of the low key one of the better basketball movies I've ever I've ever seen.
Old Washington Huskies.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
One of the better movies Marlon Wayans ever did. Everything else is kind of
everything that he does without Sean is normally a good movie. When he has Sean in there, then it's kind of
yeah.
I still love white chicks, so
white chicks. I get that. I get it, but
the first 5 minutes of White Chicks is the only thing that made the movie for me. Outside of that,
I bet, huh? Because when they was up in there talking about the ice cream in the bodega, huh?
It brought me to my roots. It brought me
to puppy.
Speaking of roots, I don't know what the Knicks got to do to get back to their roots. But if we're being honest, what roots do they have? I've always said that the Knicks or the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. Whatever can go wrong in the playoffs will go wrong. And it happens to the Knicks year after year.
I'm going to tell you what happened. So we saw 2 games in a row. The Boston Celtics was up 20 points on the New York Knickerbockers, and the Knicks came back and they won those games, and then they ultimately won the series. And the entire city and state of New York just went crazy. we winning the championship. They went crazy and they forgot that they still had to play the Indianapolis Pacers. And it was a little catchback because they were sitting there. They was too busy, still focused on we just beat the defending champions. They forgot to look at the Indiana Pacers. And the same thing that happened to the happened to the Celtics happened to them. They was up 17, and then they took their foot off the gas and let them boys walk them down, and that's exactly what happened. Tyrese Halliburton with the iconic Reggie Miller choke symbol in front of your boy Spike Lee, and it just happened. What went down? I don't think it's gonna be a series like how New York beat up on the Celtics, but it's gonna get kind of crazy. They better watch themselves.
Chef, before I come to you, right before I come to you, I want to throw these numbers out there really quick. Milwaukee up 118 to 111 with 34 seconds left. 7-point lead. Indiana won that game. Cleveland Cavaliers up 119 to 112, 46.7 seconds. Indiana won that game. Last night, 121 to 112, 52.5 seconds.
Indiana won.
Is this more? I'm come right to you, Chef. This is more the mantra of how Indianapolis is playing these playoffs, or this is just a bad Knicks that collapse.
Let me tell you something. This is good coaching, great adjustments, great execution by the Pacers, and the belief that they are never out of it. They hit all four of those marks. They hit each and every one. They truly believe they're never out of it. And their coach is out coaching every head coach he's faced this year.
They went into it with a Ted Lasso mentality.
Yeah, he's making adjustments on the fly better than anybody I've seen in the last 20 years. He's doing an amazing job. Period. Bottom line. This is a phenomenal coaching job, as well as a phenomenal execution job by those players. Tyrese Halliburton is in his bag. And I get what Charles Barkley said last night. He hopes that his father is able to come to game 3 and 4. Stop playing with me. I believe in voodoo. I believe in bad luck karma. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Y'all are winning. Y'all are doing it big. Let his dad stay at home and enjoy the games.
Right, because he ain't been to a game since that incident, right? And
right. No, he's been banned.
Right.
The NBA has banned him from coming to live games.
Yep.
Since he got in
jail with Giannis, right?
Since he got in Giannis' race.
And so the last series, his dad wasn't there, and he was not there. So a video came out. He was at a local sports bar that was sponsored by the Indianapolis Pacers, and he was going crazy, drinking or whatever. But he was having it was having a good time. Not talking any ill of him.
Right.
So 2 things we can say here: stay away for superstitious reasons.
Yes.
Or 2, allow him to have this ride with his son. But how about put him in a press box? How about put him in keep him away from other players? Because obviously that's where the problem happened, right? Because it's not the first time this has happened.
Right. And other teams have been complaining about his behavior right there on the court. He jumping in players' faces and all that. No, you can't do that. You are not one of these players. You are somebody's father. You are not an NBA player. You don't need to be on the court getting in people's faces. That's not what your role is here. Your role is to sit there and shut up and watch your son. Cheer for your son. That's your role.
And you're gonna mess around and you're gonna run up on the wrong one. And that's the thing. You're gonna run up on the wrong one. Because I can guarantee you, if the Detroit Pistons are in town, I know somebody who you won't run up on.
Don't do it.
Isaiah Stewart.
Don't do it.
Isaiah Stewart.
That boy there. He be ready.
He don't care.
He's trying to fight everybody.
Everybody. So he don't care who you are. It could be your mama. It could be your daddy. It could be the concession stand people. He will fight anybody. So let him stay at home. And like you said, I'm very superstitious. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Bottom line.
But they beat Milwaukee with him there. So
they beat him with him there, but they've been on a tear. since then, though.
And they was favored against Milwaukee. They were not favored against the Cavs.
They
No,
weren't favored
of
against-
course not.
No,
Cavs was not expected to go down 4-1.
no,
A gentleman's sweep, as they say.
Right.
exactly. They
And
were
I don't
not-
think they favored against the Knicks either.
It's 50-50.
I think it's
I think it's
50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's 50-50.
Yeah,
But you know, the Knicks got the Pope on their side, so
So with that being said, prediction time, gentlemen. How do you think this series ends up? In Indianapolis or the Knickerbockers? JB?
you know, I didn't pick either one of these teams to make the Eastern Conference Finals, so we in uncharted territories. I think this game is this series go 7, and I do think that the Knicks will pull it out right at the end.
Knicks will pull it out at 7 at home.
I think that the Knicks will be going to the NBA Finals for the first time in quite a while this year. Yep.
I'm going with
Get
Indiana.
questions. We'll answer that right after this. Chef, talk to me. Indianapolis or New York?
I'm calling Indiana on this one, brother. I'm sorry. Right now, I believe the Pacers are just on a tear that we haven't seen a team to be on in that Eastern Conference in a very long time. And yeah, I'm going with the Pacers win in 6.
What up, Bets? It's normally at 6 p.m. on Thursdays.
So for me, this is hard because I'm a Knicks fan, but I think I am one of the truest Knicks fans because I am harder on the Knicks than I am on any team that I root for. With that being said, they haven't seen a championship since '73, which means I've never seen them win a championship, which I always expect them to fall short. Now, my prediction will come after the next game. What Knicks team do we get? Because they've always played from behind to beat Boston before Jason Tatum's injury. And we're going to talk about that here momentarily. They came back from that. At that point, Boston seemed a little defeated. Again, this is uncharted territory, as you alluded to earlier. What Knicks team are we going to get tomorrow night in game 2? Are they going to pack it in? If Indianapolis wins game 2, this series is over. It might be 4-1 easily.
Yeah,
This series is going to depend on game 2.
if they lose 2 in a row at home, yeah, it's gonna be over.
Even if they win, but they win in a nail biter, I'm still saying it's over. Because bottom line is, I believe it's starting to catch up with the Knicks. I think the run that they're on, I believe is just one that's not being able to be sustained because the bench is not being used properly.
No, he has a steady 7-man rotation.
7. That's it. There's no
way
way you can get to this point.
Maybe 8 campaign
every now and then.
now and again. Maybe 8. He's
Yeah.
the 8th man, and that's not a strong 8th man.
That's not a strong 8th man.
And was being trashed last night.
You literally you have to go into your bench deep at this point because bottom
Exactly.
line, the season is catching up with everybody. And if you're not going to do that, you're not going to make it to the finals.
Exactly. So I got we got David Harding say Indian 6. Marcus
And I
Bet
agree,
said
brother.
Knicks in
I
7.
don't agree with you.
BET said Knicks in 7. I'm on that same wavelength right there with BETS. BETTS, I'm sorry. But we
I'm trying to find the comments. I don't. Okay, here we go. I finally see them. There we go. What's going on? My apologies. You know, we actually shoot these out of different posts. Yeah, game 2 is going to decide the whole series.
Did we answer Keller Davis?
No,
we haven't answered that question
I was
just yet.
I was just about to go to that before we move on to the Western Conference. The Boston. I was hoping our fourth brother. He's on the road right now from work. Maybe he's listening to this. This injury happening so late in the season for Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
I think it's a legit question because this is usually a 8-month to 12-month injury.
Yeah, you got a whole year with that.
Exactly. So, with that being said, how can Boston recover without a Jason Tatum next season?
Well, and you say that, but you still have to wonder when Jaylen Brown go be back because he tore that his ACL. So you got Jaylen Brown that's gonna be out for an extended amount of time. He may be back by November. But you said you got a 1A, 1B, so that means 1B got to step up until Tatum can come back. But Tatum probably go miss all of the 2026 season.
You're
So-
also looking at a Drew Holiday probably walking
or getting traded. So
it's about time for him to move on.
yeah. So yeah,
where was who
Well, he was a gift. He was
Yeah,
traded
he was
a
a
couple times. He was a
Yeah.
gift. He landed on Boston's lap last year.
exactly.
And
And
that's
what
a big
happens when
piece.
he moves on?
But here's one thing I will say about Boston: the ball moves better when Tatum's not in the lineup.
Facts.
it does. But who
Tatum plays a lot of isolation ball.
he does?
And everybody stands around waiting for him to just pitch it out or the rebound.
Right.
If y'all notice, game 4, I want to say he got hurt in game 3 or game 4. Either way, the next game where they won. I think that was game 5 actually. Yeah, game 5 because they closed out in game 6. Game 5, the Boston Celtics looked amazing without Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, old man Horford,
Porzingis.
like usual, and Jaylen Brown even looked good, but he was still banged up. I give that part, but the ball moved. The ball moved free, so we'll see how that Boston team is. One thing they got for them is the East is not as dominant. They would have been in the West. They would have been the 11th seed, which means they were going home.
Yeah,
but they're in the East. And I still think that without Tatum, they're a top 16.
Yeah.
They're just not going to be top 3.
Yeah.
Until Tatum gets back. And even then, it's kind of like when Jordan came back at the end of the season toward the playoffs, and they still lost, I think, in the first round.
To the Magic.
Yeah, he got to get his feet back in there.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
And it depends on what they do in the offseason, too. Because like you said, it could be time for Drew Holiday to either walk or get traded. So it depends on what they do in the offseason, and
their money is
can't really say through the draft.
That money is tied up between Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis, and they have no money to really play.
Didn't White just get paid?
Yeah, he got paid. He got his money.
Too. So
they're gonna have to look for some veteran exemptions.
Yeah, they definitely got to do that.
$5 million a year, like a Russell Westbrook. I know that sounds. I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm just saying.
I don't see him leaving. I don't see him leaving OKC. I don't see it. Not OKC. I'm sorry.
Considering he in Denver right now, I don't.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm left OKC a long time ago.
I'm just throwing names out there. Those guys who are only playing for $4 or $5 million a season. Those are the guys that Boston's going to need to fill out that team next year.
Exactly. You're right. But I mean, I do wish him a speedy recovery because you never want to see nobody go down like that. It was people joking around when it happened, talking about, oh, he won't be like Kobe so bad. He went out there and popped his Achilles. I was like, dang.
Same time of the game.
Right.
Don't throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
And like, I wasn't against the joke because I like jokes, but like not 2 minutes after it happened. Like, let the man get surgery at least. Then you can make the joke.
I really was against that joke. So
there's certain things that even as we very dislike or even hate our rivals, when Dak Prescott got hurt, and everybody knows I hate the Cowboys. Those are the moments where you embrace, like, I hope he gets better because real people don't wish ill or injury on the opposite team. You just got to beat them straight up.
Right. Yeah, you're still a person at the end of the day. Now, there's certain players that I don't give that respect to. Dante Jones, no. Dante Jones was a dirty player, and I wish nothing but injuries on him, and I'm glad he's out the league. Yes. Yes, he was dirty. I watched him try to take out people like Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant and all that stuff. He pushed Kobe Bryant palm smooth in the back. As soon as he jumped in the air, I said, "Oh, Dante Jones, you trash."
We're going to move, since you brought up the West Coast, we're going to move on to the Western Conference since you opened that door tonight. Game two, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who did not show up for game 1 against Oklahoma City Thunder, who
they tried to show up at first.
It's putting things together. And Edwards, just because he went around, was deemed the next Michael Jordan, but he is no Jordan, obviously.
No,
And
He's not.
OKC is just,
Man, I told y'all.
they're just that good.
I told y'all it was OKC. I told y'all that. I don't care what you say. Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Batman, Thunder and Fire.
Get them all.
Thunder and Fire.
Literally, I'm gonna be honest with you. At this point, until somebody can prove us wrong, it proved me wrong. This is the OKC invitation.
I already told you. OKC winning. They taking it. They taking the whole thing.
I don't know if anybody. The hardest obstacle they had to get by, they just got by. With the
Denver. Yeah. I everybody, including us or me, I'm pretty sure. I think we all said it. Whoever winning that Denver OKC series was going to be the favorite to win. So, I agree.
The most valuable player of this season is about to lead his team to the championship.
You brought it up. That's how I was going next. SGA winning the MVP was that Fair Fox, the Joker. It's hard for me to say that name.
Nikola Jokic
possibly had the best season of any NBA player.
He did, but no, SGA deserved the MVP this year.
I'm gonna say it like this. Every year you can mention his name as the MVP. You can pencil him in as MVP, and nobody should have a problem with it. But there are certain times when it's just other players are going to have numbers that kind of look better, and they're on a team that they're doing things that you should highlight as they're most valuable to their team. Even though, again, to me, Jokic is always the guy that you have to put him up and put people against. That's similar, and I'm not trying to say Joker is like Jordan. Please do not take this as I'm saying Joker is Jordan. Jordan could have won MVP every year, and nobody would have disputed it. The year that Charles Barkley won, everybody was up in arms, but Charles Barkley had an amazing season. That's just the bottom line. He had an amazing season. Now, Jordan ripped his drawers off and ran around the stadium with them, but he did have a great season. The year Karl Malone won, Karl Malone had a great season. Jordan took homage to that and ripped his jersey off and ran around the stadium with it too.
I took it personal. That's what he said. I took it personal.
Yeah, and Jordan made it very clear. I took it personal. I was mad, and that's what he did. So, yeah, Joker. I mean, Joker's Joker, man. Let's just be clear about it. Joker is Joker. The only thing that Joker is missing, Joker's defense is trash. And that just needs to be said. He can't play defense. But on offense, he's a nightmare. He got a complete and utter nightmare.
He got cement blocks for feet. He can't move.
Yeah.
The question was asked if the Knicks and the Wolves somehow make it to the finals, how much talk about that trade is going to come into play?
So I will preface that question with there's a former Knick on every team. Like a recent former Knick on every team. Isaiah Hartenstein, OKC, Randall, Minnesota, Indiana got Obi Toppin, who at the end of the game was a force to close out last night.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there.
DiVincenzo trash though.
No, don't do that. I like DiVincenzo.
He's struggling this year because I think in his defense, he's trying to be 1B.
Right.
Being a 2.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
He's playing a 2 in every sense of the word.
You're right, and I think his confidence took a hit when he got traded because he thought he was gonna beat up with all his boys that he played in college with, and then he got traded. Yeah, so
because it was about to be Villanova 2.0.
Right. I'm joking out there, internet land. I was just playing when I said DiVincenzo trash. I like his game. So
he's tough, so I like. And he hard as woodpecker lips. So I'm just saying. Yeah, pause that.
we gonna pause that. We ain't just gonna let that walk across.
Yeah. Hey, look, not this ain't the Diddy trial. That is the foolishness coming out right now.
Freezer meat.
So we all agree. We all agree it's OKC over everybody.
Yeah.
No question.
I'm trying to bring it back together, gentlemen.
Please,
I'm trying to bring it back together.
Lord, Desmond Robinson, the chef, the playoff chef.
It's
He's going crazy.
You did it.
You could get it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Woo.
What we diving into next? Let's go into it.
So we got some money that's been floating around with these rookies, fully guaranteed contracts.
I love it. Get your money. Get that back.
Abdul Carter, I think, is making just as much as the number one pick, Cam Ward, is this year.
You know, it's crazy that they had to move around a whole bunch of money just to make sure they sign him.
That's crazy.
I was like, what y'all doing up there, New York Giants?
Oh, the Giants got no. They still. I think they're still paying Daniel Jones this year, I believe.
I think he still get better.
Yeah, I think he still counts against their cap this year.
So they renegotiated somebody's salary. I forget who it was, and to take $10 million and turn it into a signing bonus to be able to sign with them.
Look,
this question just popped in my head. I'm gonna go right to you, Chef.
What's
I know you got a problem with this player I'm about to say.
Who is the deep voice fella? Brady Pope said, "Who is you?"
I hate
with
it.
Carter obviously being drafted, Thibodeau not being traded.
Cut him now.
They have a plan of going 3 rotation defensive end.
Nope.
Can that work? You know, in New York, New Jersey.
Send him to the UFL right now.
Why you trying to cut him? He out there.
Cut him.
He out there running over the folk.
He is Babbage. Cut him.
That's terrible.
Get him out of here, Sarge.
What's happening, Mr. Watts, Mr. Pope?
I need him.
I don't know what Jack got going on. What
I need him in the Continental Football League. Send him right now.
The Continental Football League, not even the Canadian.
I'm making up leagues. I want him in a farm league football team. I want him playing in an old cow pasture.
My goodness.
Sarge, he's the worst. I've been said it. I'm staying on it.
The absolute worst?
I don't like him.
What he done you?
Sarge,
did he do something to one of your teams?
I'm trying to figure out what did he do to you?
Did he do something to Alabama?
Son,
he played in Oregon.
I remember.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
We played in the college football championship. This dude was commentating prior to, and he was boasting about how he's quote unquote supposedly mishandled our offensive line. And they showed, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember this. I was like, what is he talking about? And then lo and behold, pulled up some film, and he was getting rolled up like a blunt at a Christmas party on 420. This dude is the worst. I know I'm combining holidays. Let me do what I'm doing. So I don't like him because the bottom line, this guy literally just is, he's oh my God, he's so obnoxious. I just can't with the dude. I just can't. And I don't know him as a person, but the impression you get, the first impression you get is the one that lasts the most. And my first impression is he's garbage.
Well, all right.
We're going to move on from your.
No, let's stay. I'm ready to stay on this. Let's go.
No, we're trying.
I got time.
I'm gonna go right back to you. The NFL schedule came out last week, right? NFL schedule came out. There's one team favored to win every game, and that one team is starting week 1. I come right back to you, Mr. Chef, since it seems like I'm poking the bear literally today. It's the Buffalo Bills who open up against the Baltimore Ravens.
And guess what? We're going to rip their shirt off.
Ain't they on Hard Knocks?
And that's the other part. I can't wait until they do Hard Let's get it. I would say they would make this better if they did Hard Knocks and put Josh Allen on the Madden cover. I would love it. It would feel great.
That's terrible.
On the Madden cover
rip their jersey off.
Yeah, he was on Madden a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
No, I want him back on it this year because guess what? Just because it didn't happen then, we would make sure it happened week one.
Well, it's gonna be out of Jamar Chase and what's his name, Saquon Barkley doing the.
I think it should be Jamar Chase, even though Saquon had a season for the Eagles. I think it should be Jamar Chase. He put up numbers that were astronomical.
I'm going to tie up everything that we discussed so far. Saquon's season is equivalent to Nikolai Jokic, who didn't get the MVP, but kind of should have. And Josh Allen won it because of the one-time ish where SGA did his thing. So is that a fair comparison?
I'll be honest with you. Josh Allen shouldn't have won last year, in my humble opinion, because Lamar's season was just as amazing. But
Lamar had a better season last season than he did the year he won MVP.
Amazing season, way better than his. But I digress. Again, that's just my opinion.
Like Josh Allen is a one-man team and one-man wrecking ball
he's throwing passes to himself, running over people.
He's no longer a not top 10 quarterback. We're moving on
now.
That topic.
For now. We'll see what happens when the season starts.
Because I know Cook was having issues with getting paid. Did they pay Cook yet? Because I don't think they paid him.
I don't remember. Where's our
statistician? They have not paid him yet.
I don't think they paid him.
They have not paid Cook yet.
We really will find out what Josh Allen we gonna have if they don't pay that man his money. Because I got a feeling that young fella is gonna hold out during training camps and during the preseason, and at some point he'll come back, but it may be too little, too late. And if he is not in training camp and he's not in the preseason, and he decides to just show up for week one with Baltimore, guess what? He gonna get his mouth tore off.
We'll see. Well, he's played without a starting running back many a season. I think last 2 years was the first time he actually had it capable.
This is All Sports Matter, Mr. Harding. We will talk WNBA eventually.
Oh, yeah. You already know.
James Cook has not signed a new contract extension as of today.
I didn't think so. So that's a very interesting piece, especially since my running back did sign his new contract. And he's in training camp, and he is looking amazing. And
you know what?
Lamar looks amazing right now.
Well, that wasn't the subject at hand.
I'm childish. I'm gonna bring it up.
And you know what? I'm loving the fact that they signed these contracts because I got 3 people that done signed contracts, and I want every bit of it. I want them to be in camp.
And speaking of contracts, go into that one. Let's talk about.
So, with that being said, gentlemen, Brock Purdy's getting $53 million a season.
Get that man his money.
Is the one-hit wonder worthy of $53 million a year?
I don't know if I would say one-hit wonder though, because he got him to the NFC Championship, and then the following year, coming off of the surgically repaired elbow, he got him to the Super Bowl. Last year, you was missing the all-world running back, and you kind of took a dip back because you got other injuries. But I wouldn't say he's a one-hit wonder. You got these people arguing, he got a team around him, and he got he a good quarterback for the system. That's what you want, I thought, right? You want to have a team around a quarterback.
That's how Tom Brady was his whole career.
You want to have a quarterback that can work.
Nobody was a better system quarterback than Tom Brady. I'll say it.
He is the legend of system quarterbacks.
And I love it. Do your thing. I love the fact that they paid Fred Warner. I love the fact that they paid George Kittle.
Yeah.
Is that enough, though? Since you opened that door, is that enough?
It's not enough.
Division, but is that enough to make the playoffs?
It's enough to make the playoffs, but it remains to be seen as to how deep they'll go with all of the subtractions that they had in the offseason, because they was letting everybody go. I had to wake up one day and call and make sure that they didn't let me go. I was like, hold up, I'm still good. It was like, you straight? I was like, cool. So but yeah, just bringing in the the other folks, bringing in Michael and everybody else, getting some help on that back end and bringing in some offensive line help. We go see what they do, because you saw what they did in the draft. They focused on defensive line.
Yep.
So we go see. I'm.
It's
You say we're not comparing Brock to Brady. We not comparing them. We just talking about system quarterbacks who know how to work in the system. That's all we saying.
Who said we comparing?
Who asked that question?
David Leroy Harding.
Stop it.
Leroy.
Look, Leroy.
Leroy.
He needs to get used to not seeing a Super Bowl for the next 45 years. How about
now I'm gonna be honest, because
not 45.
Patriots fan?
Yeah, Bills fan?
Drake May?
Oh,
well, I mean,
come on.
They might have a better season this year. I think
they're
going to
do
have
what they
a
do.
really good season.
They
this
can't
year.
have a worse season. Well, yeah. And I'm not knocking on wood, because I can give two shits if they got a worse season. I'm just saying, the only way they can only go up. You know what I'm saying? They picked up some talent.
They did.
They signed Stefan Diggs coming off the injury, albeit, but he sounds like he's willing to play ball.
Yeah.
Drake May wasn't the problem, obviously. They got a good quarterback. They got a good quarterback, so we'll see how that team
I think
offensive lineman they drafted number 4th, right? So
yeah, they did. What's the young man from out of LSU who just graduated this past Saturday?
Yeah, dinosaur arms. Yeah, they graduated.
Hey, but he be out there blocking though. He be out there blocking though. You ain't go. I know you won't get off him. You won't get off him. You be blocking. He be keeping the quarterback safe.
Oh my God, why I gotta be?
You talking about people coming off injury though, Amir? Aiden Hutchinson just cleared for all football activities. Is he the front runner?
You know what? No. Before we get to I gotta cut you off, and I'm hoping he's still watching. I saw a post made by the person I was watching earlier, not Mr. Harding, but yeah, either way. They said the Lions is going to take a step back from the team or the season they had last season. With that being said, now ask your question.
Is Aiden Hutchinson the front runner for comeback player of the year?
Yes.
So how can they take a step back when they play without possible?
Because he got hurt in week 5, so
that exactly is the answer. I mean, what you just said and what Jim just said.
I'm just saying.
There ain't going to be no doggone step back. Them boys, once David Montgomery gets healthy and is fully healthy, and you get Aiden Hutchinson back, they picked up some wonderful pieces in the draft. There's no way they're stepping back.
The only thing that the only way I can say that something like that happens is the players don't really jive with the new coordinators. Since you got a new offensive and new defensive coordinator. They come in with a system that the player is not really catching on to, then that may be an issue. But I don't see them taking a step back though.
But the thing is, they still got the same head coach.
They do.
And he is a motivator.
Mr. Roll of the Dice himself.
Oh yeah, you a roll of dice.
Now, he may not roll the dice as much this year, but
I will say this. I will say, as far as the comment that was made when to take a step back, I don't see them going 15-2.
No.
Right? That's what they finished last year, I believe, 15-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see them going 15-2. Now, technically, if they go 14-3, they're like, oh, it's a step back.
They had a worse season statistically.
I would love to have that. Look, there are teams that are dying to have 14-3 seasons.
Who's to say? We're giving props to the Back It Up Binge podcast. Thank you for chiming in.
What's happening? Back It Up Binge.
You're absolutely right. You know, Miami needed a man. Miami had Brian Flores. I should have kept him. We're not going to talk about all the mistakes Miami have done with their coaching staff throughout the years.
The Saints had Campbell.
You know, so
as a player and a coach. As a player and a coach.
I will meet Mr. Betts halfway when he said they're going to take a step back. Not throwing any names out there, but 14-3 technically is a step back, I guess, in their eyes. but they're still winning the division, correct?
Mhm.
Let's talk
Without
about
a doubt.
it. NFC
Without a
North.
doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
Every team has looked better except for the wild card that might be the Minnesota Vikings, if I'm being honest. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy's bringing to the table.
Right.
Maybe if I'm at behind center, all I got to do is just throw it to Justin Jefferson and he can catch anything.
I'm just
But
saying.
we don't know what J.J. McCarthy's bringing to the table.
While you playing, throw it up to either him or
Addison.
Jordan Addison, and you still have the Hawkinson. Is it Hawkinson?
No.
The tight
Yeah,
end.
J.J.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson. Yeah.
You got TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And they picked up the guy that
Yeah.
didn't want to play in San Francisco anymore, Jordan Mason, to back up Aaron Jones. Because we all know Aaron Jones is going to miss about 3 to 4 games every season.
I don't know if he didn't want to play there.
Wait a
If
minute.
he's healthy.
Is it contract year?
For Mason?
No.
No.
Running back.
No, they
Well,
they extended Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones? No.
They did 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
they extended
Almost
Aaron
2 years
Jones.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Next year, he's a free agent. He's playing
Next
good
year.
this year. He's fine this year. So,
Yeah,
and
no,
if we're being honest, he deserved it. Aaron Jones
Right.
probably had one of his better seasons. ever.
I'm excited to see Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones running together though, because Jordan Mason is a hard runner. I was upset to see him go, but I mean that running back room is kind of full.
Yeah, he's a
And don't-
destructive little fella running the ball.
And don't the Vikings have a third receiver too? Who that third receiver? I know they got Addison, Double J, and who was the third guy? The one who was the rookie.
I'm going in. Let me find out.
Acting as a
No, go
staff
ahead and continue. I got you.
chef.
While he doing that, Amir, I'm gonna ask you a question because you know you be asking questions, you be throwing the questions at the folks. So I'm gonna throw a question at you.
Yes, sir.
What do you think will happen with Trey Hendrickson?
He's gonna play. They'll pay him, or if there was ever a player adamant about retiring, I believe it is Trey Hendrickson. If I'm being honest with you, he'll play. He's the reason for the defense. Without him, obviously Cincinnati will be Cincinnati. All offense, no defense. Everything about Trey Henderson, everything about Cincinnati Bengals, obviously. The only team in the world to score 50 points and lose 54 to 50. You know, that's just who they are. It has to end somehow. They drafted well on the defensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
Still young, though. They're unproven, but they need that defensive captain. I know they're probably playing chicken right now, but you can't
They
play
might-
chicken with Trey Henderson. You just
They
can't.
better
do it.
not play for too long though.
Yeah, they don't have a third.
Yeah, they got Rondale Moore. Yeah, that's right.
No,
Rondale Moore.
They had somebody else, and they got Jalen Naylor, but they had somebody else last year. He must have went somewhere.
But Naylor only had 400
Naylor
yards.
was a number 3 last year.
Yeah, he was
Naylor
number
was
3.
up
Yeah,
they
like
had somebody
400
else.
yards total. With,
Yeah, Naylor was the number 3 last year.
Who got hurt last year? Was it Addison that got hurt?
Addison missed a few games. Just
missed a
few
couple
games
games.
last year, yeah.
He did miss a couple games.
All right.
But it was just trying to get TJ Hawkinson back on the field in the right way.
He didn't show up to what, week 10 or 12?
10 or
somewhere right
12.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, right there. Showing up.
I expect a good season from him, but again, the wild card is gonna be JJ McCarthy.
That's what you gotta.
He's
You
gonna
gotta
be a
think
wild
about.
card.
But either way, we are going to move on. Money has been shoved out in the free agency department. Speaking of money or lack thereof, Caitlin Clark at the 3-point line is money, but her common foul, flagrant foul, Angel Reese out of bounds, inbounds.
You know,
Common foul.
We got to talk about it because it's
Yeah,
one of
we
the
do.
hot topics
Yeah.
of last week, where a common foul turned into Angel Reese losing her mind. All her frustrations came out on that one play.
you know, people look at that play in the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark relationship and rivalry as, you know, something more than it is. They're trying to bring something more than it is to that whole thing. Now, when you look at the play at first glance, it looked like it was something more malicious to it. when you
Right.
see it at first. But when they turn it around and you see that she didn't really push her, she just kind of grabbed her and Angel Reese jumped out of bounds.
It's a
You
good
see,
hard
it's a common foul.
Right.
You also on the clip that's circulating, you don't see Angel Reese put both of her hands in what you call it back and push her.
Aaliyah Boston and
Aaliyah
yes,
Boston.
Aaliyah
and
Boston.
you see it
directly-
it's just ignored, but you see that push.
But on the initial clip when people are, oh, Caitlin Clark is doing this, and no, you don't see what she did, because you see when the clip starts, you see Caitlin Clark motioning like, what is she? How y'all just gonna let her push her in the back? So yeah, she went and took the foul because she's by herself. If you're in the NBA and you see somebody by themselves about to have a wide open layup, you'll go do a gimme foul. No, you go earn this at the line.
Yeah.
And with Angel Reese, it's definitely gonna be earning at the line because she's not about to hit no free throws. She can barely hit a layup.
So, my
And
thing
that's
is,
coming from an LSU fan.
and I'm just gonna say it like this: she can feel how she want to feel. She has every right. The bottom line is, it's undue like sentiments that people are having right now to basically put Caitlin Clark against Angel Reese. One, Angel Reese is, and nothing disrespectful to her because I think she's a phenomenal player, but Angel Reese is not the top player in the WNBA. Bottom line is, if you want to compare her to anybody, it should be Asia Wilson.
Exactly.
Bottom line, there's nobody in the WNBA right now that is better than Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson is the face of the WNBA.
She is the face of the WNBA. I will die on that hill. Because bottom line is, Asia Wilson has done something that no player has done in WNBA history. She has literally lifted a franchise the way that nobody has. So if you want to compare Caitlin Clark to somebody, compare her to Asia Wilson. If you want to try to compare Angel Reese to somebody, you can try. Because honestly, you should be trying to compare Angel Reese to Asia Wilson because they play the same position.
Exactly.
They play the same position. And Asia Wilson is doing it at a level that Angel Reese might want to strive to get to.
You're right. And I mean, don't get me wrong. This is sports. And
Right.
and the one thing people look for in sports is a rivalry. And these two have been rivals since college. And they helped to give women's basketball a fresh set of eyes, and they help bring stuff to the forefront. So
Exactly.
yes, I get it, and I enjoy the rivalry, but let's stop trying to make it more than that.
What
Let's stop trying to make it more than basketball for a rivalry.
Right.
They can have a rivalry and not be more than basketball.
I will ask you this. I'm gonna go right back to you. Let's throw away the media, right? Let's not talk about what's being covered. Is Angel Reese herself putting a target on her back with her in-court actions?
I think she kind of is a little bit, yeah. Because I mean, she'll do stuff, and then like if you looked at the interviews after the game, they interviewed Caitlin Clark. They asked her about Angel Reese. She answered the question professionally. It wasn't none. Look, I didn't do it. I didn't do it malicious. Da 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 da. They asked Angel Reese. Right call. Now moving on. It don't have to be all that. I get that you mad, but guess what? Ain't nobody else mad. You're the only person that's still mad about that. Move on. I get it, but you are bringing this target because you're making it more than what it is, and it doesn't need to be all that.
It don't need to be that. Like, period.
You know what's crazy? The entire off season, and yes, WNBA does have an off season.
They do. That's crazy.
She dominated the topic. She dominated the headlines, I should say.
Yeah.
With
Right.
Unrivaled. Nobody was talking about the action of Unrivaled, which is crazy. Full court, 3-on-3. But it was Angel Reese that was dominating those headlines with, we are going to sit out if we don't get paid. The professionals of the NBA, the Asia Wilsons, the Brianna Stewarts, the UNESCOs, they wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, they was like,
Who was
all right,
talking all season.
Now, one thing I will say, I did support her in her drive to get them paid, because bottom line is,
as they should.
Yeah, I love that fact about
But
her.
they shouldn't come from her.
it shouldn't have came from her. That's the
And-
part. I
and
think you need, like you said, you need an Asia Wilson.
That's like Antonio Brown talking about we need more money.
Hallelujah.
It's not that bad.
It's on the line.
It ain't that bad now.
Look, hey, how Charles Barkley said it, it's not a good time.
Right, but you get my point though. You know what I'm saying? Right message, and it's been that way for years.
Right.
And not even her. It's been that way in sports. Period.
And you're right. And what she should have did, she should have gotten with an Asia Wilson,
Right.
in that school and all of them. Similar to what the running backs did in the NFL a couple of years ago. They had a meeting and let their the face of the running backs come out and speak on it.
Exactly.
And that's what she should have did. She should have gotten the WNBA together and spoke. They should have had a players meeting and done it like that. But she wanted to be Angel Reese, wanting to be the Bayou Barbie,
Your face.
and thinking that she's bigger than what she is. You got to take a step back and realize that it's not always all about you.
Now,
And the other person you should have reached out to, Diana Taurasi.
Yes.
she retired last season, though, didn't she? No, she
Even
retired.
if
but
it
still.
is her last season, she's a perfect ambassador.
No, of
Well,
course.
WNBA game.
The Sue Bird,
Sue Bird is good.
yeah, those players.
I
No,
know.
of course. Rebecca Lobo should be
Rebecca Lobo,
speaking
another.
every week on ESPN.
Lisa Leslie,
Yeah,
another.
no, I agree. I do agree in that aspect. Since we're talking about controversy, and we got a few minutes before we close out. This started a huge controversy online. Black on black crime, written word, obviously, between RG3 and Ryan Clark. For those that don't know, when the incident happened on the court between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, Ryan Clark's first words were that Caitlin Clark is not the face, not the white face. That's the term he used of the NBA, and neither is Angel Reese. He agreed. He said everything we just said. Well, with that being said, he took it one step further in saying RG3 has no opinion about the strife of a black woman because he is married to a white woman.
Twice.
And pause there.
He said twice.
2 times.
No, it's been repeated multiple times.
No.
He said he was married to a white woman twice.
Okay, you're right. Now,
Where
there's
is
one
the
thing I'm gonna
woman?
throw out there that I guess it's your hand gestures. I don't know.
Maybe because I said twice.
Now, I think it's the 2 fingers you did probably. I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to
I'm
see if I
gonna
can
throw
do
it
it
out
again.
there, and I'm gonna give it to you guys to talk about. Ryan Clark has a white baby mama. Just want to throw it out there. That was never
He does.
brought up. That
He
was
does.
never brought up in
And
any of the social medias.
And it's
Just
so
wanna throw it out
crazy because he cheated on his black wife with this white woman and got her pregnant. But we're not going.
I will
that
stop
part.
talking because I think I hit my points even by saying that.
That's
Shut
the
up.
part I was going to go into next, but go ahead.
Talk to me, gentlemen.
I mean,
Why is this a war of words?
maybe he's still feeling bad about cheating on his wife with this other woman and doing it, but the way, and this is what I'm talking about when I say that the media is trying to make it more than what it is with this rivalry. You know, it doesn't have to be all of what it is. It doesn't have to be because she's white, she gets this treatment, and because Angel Reese is black, they calling her this and they doing that. It doesn't have to be all of that. Now, the media is making it that, and the media is the ones who's doing that and who's calling Angel Reese this and Caitlin Clark that, which is just crazy. But for those two to be on TV or their podcasts or have that with their millions of followers doing the stuff that they're doing and attacking each other when all they have to do is call each other and just
Exactly.
talk about it, that's just ridiculous. That's like me coming on here and saying, Amir, your wife don't know this because she not black. That don't make no damn sense. I can just call you. I can call Chachi. Like, Chachi, what you talking about? But Chachi not like that
So
because
with that being said, I'm coming right back to you. Why is a significant other of any kind
Exactly.
being brought up?
exactly.
do-
At all.
But
Now,
and
they do that at 1,000 level, right?
they
We
do.
know better even doing it here.
Right. And I think I feel like Ryan Clark has had issues with RG3 in the past, and something has it's something with those two in the past where that's not the first time he's brought up the fact that RG3 has been married to a white person.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out why he's triggered by this, though. What
Right.
triggered him by this argument?
It's anytime RG3 does anything, he gets triggered. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they have some type of history that nobody knows about, and they be like 2 steps off of swinging on each other.
Is it maybe because maybe Ryan Clark got RG3 fired from ESPN? Something we don't know about? Is that a thing? RG3 only lasted 1 season.
He did, but I don't think Ryan Clark did that. I feel like
No, I'm
RG3
saying maybe he didn't defend him.
think-
Maybe he didn't.
I think
could be, but it's always on site from Ryan Clark though, not really RG3. He don't really be portraying that he have a problem with Ryan Clark like that.
one thing, like I said,
And they were teammates,
like
right?
we've been
At one
talking
point,
about,
weren't they teammates?
I think RG3 and this Ryan Clark issue, again, Jim hit it right on the head. You have each other's number. If you have an issue with one another, reach out to talk to each other and get this thing squared away, because bottom line is now it's become something totally different. And you mentioned this man's spouse as if you haven't been doing dirt in the past. Like, it's gotten messy. The lines are murky. I don't know where this is go from this point, because bottom line is they both are going back and forth at one another. I hope that somewhere in this that one of the two reaches out and speaks to the other to try to get this thing worked out, because the bottom line is it's murky. It's very messy right now. I instantly stopped watching it as soon as I saw that they were going in the back and forth. I honestly stopped watching it because I didn't want to hear about it.
I'll ask one more question before I move on. I obviously don't have. I really don't have a dog in this fight per se, as they say. I'm just a media journalist, trying to get on board. But is this a bad view for the black on black community? There's always been an argument with other races, mainly one that says there's more black on black crime, or there's more black. Is this a black eye to the black community? There we go.
I mean, not really, because we all knew what it was with those two. I think it jumped out to him because the first thing that RG3 said was, he tweeted, he was like, he basically jumped on Angel Reese, dogging her like, hey, look, they're staring us all in the face that she just hate her because they ask her a question about it, she don't want to answer no questions. She get mad when people praise her and all this other stuff. When she celebrates when her friend tried to choke one of her teammates or something, and he didn't have to bring it up and go into it in that extent, and that's why Ryan Clark came and was like, well, you don't, and I'm assuming that this is what he meant when he was like, well, you don't understand what Angel Reese is going through when she have to deal with this white woman, and that's why she reacted the way she did. But it's those two, they somebody need to sit them down in an undisclosed location, lock them in a room, and just let them do what they do.
Yeah.
Put on some boxing gloves and let them do it.
Now, question: doesn't Ryan Clark have a daughter with the white woman that he?
Yeah, he had a kid.
100%. That's what we agree. Oh,
Yeah,
his daughter. Yeah.
Right.
I saw a post where he acknowledged his beautiful daughter, that such and such, and I'm like looking at her, and I'm like,
oh yeah, she's half and half, and I wonder. I wonder if RG3 made a comment like, I can't wait till she turned 18 and I'm gonna trade my wife in.
You're childish and you need to go be in timeout.
I'm just saying, what if he said that? And what if that's the reason why he hate him?
You are literally childish. That
Because
is
if somebody said that about one of your daughters, you'll be ready to be.
no, I got time. No, you already know me. I got time, and I'm coming to see you. But look, I'm coming to see what you got. I want to see what your cologne smell like. I'm coming to see.
Gentlemen.
The cologne.
Here at the All Sports Matters podcast, yes, we know we childish. That should be
very childish.
Yes, we childish. All Sports Matters podcast, yes, we childish. Either way, we'll work on that.
I'm not. No, I'm not working on that. I'm just childish.
Chef, I need you to work on the question of the day.
This is a great one. This is a truly great one. So this Western Conference final is something amazing. We have not had a team that has not been from either California or Texas since what year? I'll say it again. This Western Conference final has two teams that are not from California or Texas. When is the last time this happened that a team was in the Western, that two teams were in the Western Conference finals and neither were from either Texas or California?
Didn't
feel like it was the last.
Didn't Denver beat Minnesota in the conference finals?
No.
I feel like it was the last time the Jazz was in the conference finals.
When was that?
96,
98?
1996. And who was the team they were playing in the Western Conference Finals?
Phoenix?
No.
It was Utah and Portland Trailblazers. Damn it. I was so confident.
Was it Sacramento?
Close. You're close, though.
Was it Sacramento?
No, that's
Seattle.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle Supersonics. Sorry. Seattle Supersonics. I'm childish.
The Supersonics.
So ever since 1996, there has been a team either from Texas or California in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that's crazy. That's since 1996. This is 2025. And we have not had a team from either that has not been either in California or Texas.
That's pretty crazy.
That's my little sports trivia question for today.
Hey, look, I got a question for y'all. Y'all know, because this is All Sports Matter. A few weeks ago was the Kentucky Derby. Did y'all know that every horse that ran in the Kentucky Derby was a descendant of Secretary?
Yes, I did.
Every horse
that was in the last Kentucky Derby was a descendant of Secretariat, which is bananas. It is bananas.
Secretary was out there siren.
I got one more fun fact, and this is crazy to me. Ever since Scotty Scheffler has started his professional career as a golfer, he has more wins in the state of North Carolina than the Carolina Panthers do.
The Panthers.
Since he started his career. That's crazy.
Oh, and also crazy. My baby girl graduates high school next week. And
congratulations to the niece. Clap it up.
Yeah, I'm literally over the moon. As a matter of fact, not only does my baby girl graduate, my godson, who is named after me, graduated on Tuesday. My cousin graduates graduates Friday.
Oh my!
That sounds like a lot of money being spent. That's how
parties everywhere.
It's a lot of money.
Hey, I ain't mad at it.
And stay tuned. Stay tuned for the videos that will come forth after such.
You know what? You childish. Just don't put no food in there because you're childish.
No. It's going to be plenty of food. And anybody who needs a caterer for an event, please reach out to the chef. I am more than willing and able to go ahead and assist you with that, because bottom line, I got to pay for a lot.
Oh, you said you travel? You travel to
And
New Orleans?
Roger, I will travel expeditiously.
He's traveling to New Orleans to cook.
Whatever you say, I'm en route.
I don't know, because in 2 Sundays from now, might have some things popping. I don't know yet.
But we will talk after this call, because bottom line is, you already know I don't need nothing but an invitation to do so. So yeah, let's talk about it.
That is. Y'all heard what the chef said. Y'all better call him.
Yes,
We gonna
sir.
put his phone. We gonna have his phone number scrolling at the bottom. I ain't
Uh,
gonna do that because that'd be crazy.
Mr. JB, I think we're done here.
We done. Hey, look, I see AEW on the TV, and I see the what I said: Ant-Man, Batman, Spider-Man, Thunder and Fire. I see him about to step up. What we say? Some people like football, basketball, and baseball, and others like hockey, soccer, and NASCAR. But right here, all sports matter.
Cheers.
Thank you.